Threescore and several years ago, a person was brought forward. That person would be me. It was with the idea that all things are not equal. It was with the idea that not everyone is a winner. It was with the idea that not everyone is a loser. And the best that we can hope for is to die in our sleep. With these truths being self-evident, I have a daydream. That daydream is to lead this nation, nay, this world, into a glorious future of mediocrity. A world where every household will have an endless supply of toilet paper, and where all of our Australian brothers and sisters will never be considered below us, even though they are down under. A world where our Canadian allies will never have to say, "I'm sorry," just for being Canadian, or to be ridiculed for not knowing that their bacon is just ground ham. A world where the British, will never have to be reminded that they had to ask the Yanks, the Canucks, the Aussies, and the Kiwis to bail them out of not one, but two world wars. A world where the French will never have to speak French again, so that everyone can understand them when they say, "We don't surrender," and they can fight for their own freedom. I am Lloyd Mendenhall, the Grumpy Blogger, and I am running for president in 2020. And I approve this message. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Grumpy Vlogger campaign headquarters in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Our South Dakota campaign is campaign headquarters at Grumpy's Bar and Grill, and we may have some people coming from that area. And we're doing the last ditch effort for me to become. Thank you, Lost Girl, Angela. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm shooting for absolute mediocrity, because I figure even if I'm mediocre, I'm probably better than half of them that are up there now. So anyways, I have got somebody sitting in the background waiting. He is my normal co-host. And I can't call him the guy with the golden voice and shaggy beard, because today I didn't even shave for the show. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my illustrious co-host. And let's bring him here and pop that up. Oh, look, we got a thunderstorm going on. You must have ran to get a cup of coffee.
No, I just wanted to show you how electrifying your show's going to be tonight for the night before the election.
That's right. Last night before the election.
Absolutely. And, hello, Lloyd.
Hey, Mel, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, man. Almost didn't make it on time.
Well, I was glad you showed up, because I have got I sent out several notices, and I got one from Art. He's doing a drone shoot or something tonight, so he'll be late coming in if he makes it. And Chris Hope is at T-ball, and I haven't heard from anybody else, but I know. I can see how it is. They all know. They saw the poll numbers. I'm down in the polls, so they've all bailed off the
hell with it.
Yep. Yeah, why the hell support him now?
They grabbed the life preserver and float ring and said, "We're out of here."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they said we're not even part of that circus. But anyways,
hello everybody in chat.
Let's do a little housekeeping here. Let me say hi to everybody. Of course, drone shots. Him and T-Bird are always trying to get in to see who can be first, and drone shots won first in tonight, and T-Bird is here, and then we had Bob Casey was pulling up third place there, and Jay-Bird showed up. Hadn't seen him in a week or two. And Angela, I'm so glad you're here tonight, Angela. She says she's got her whiskey and ready for a new day. So can't get better than that, right?
She got a whiskey and ready for a new day.
She says she's got her whiskey and she's ready for a new day.
She's counting on Biden losing then. If she's already got her whiskey, she's gonna be crying in her whiskey, right? No, I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Just picking on you. Just picking on you, honey. You know that.
And of course, we got you, and we've got, let's see, Hot Rod in Daytona. All right. And Grant Smith. And I see the wonderful Tammy is sitting in kind of watching. And
She
we've
is.
got, yeah,
She is indeed.
yes, she is. And we got Roosevelt, the other Mr. President, Roosevelt himself. Yeah, my mind went blank. my that's nothing new.
Squirrel.
Fly natural. Yeah, it was definitely that was definitely a squirrel moment. Yeah. Uh,
Oh,
but
poor Lloyd.
anyways, yeah, I know. You know, this last week, I did 5 videos last week. I was well ahead of the game. Come last night, I just didn't have it in me to do one. I haven't done one. I'm hoping to have one for tomorrow, so I'll try and get 4 videos. Which I this whole thing about uh, doesn't count when it's normally happy hour, not election hour. Yeah, that's another thing. Speaking of happy hour, they shut down the bars on election day in some states.
They do.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of other stuff going on too on this night before election. This whole weekend has been kind of interesting. There are businesses all over New York City, several places in Florida, all over the country, really. There are a lot of places that are boarded up and sealed up tonight.
I saw a picture of them boarding up a place in New York City today. Like, because from what I understand is Antifa said they're going to riot regardless. They don't care who wins. Well, they put out official notice. So,
yeah.
But, they're anarchists. That's what they do. They've been around for hundreds of years,
So anyway,
here's the thing. I don't care. I really don't. I mean, I would appreciate a vote for me or for Donald Trump if you can't choose me. But
you got one. I showed you my voter form.
I know you showed me that, and I appreciate that. So, like I said, those are my preferences. But all I ask is that you get out and vote. If you haven't mailed it in already, make sure you get it mailed in. If you're going to stand in line, make sure you're there. Just exercise your civil rights of being an American citizen by voting in this presidential election. That's all I ever care about.
Yep.
I have my preferences. Everybody knows what they are. And, this whole presidential campaign thing has been for fun, because the reason I started it, and, it's kind of my opening monologue here, Mel, but the reason I started it was because anybody and everybody was running on the Democratic ticket and they started a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, almost seems like, and everybody was jumping on it. Yes, Bill Thomas, and welcome. He says, if you don't vote, you can't bitch. That's the rule. That's it.
Exactly it. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice. If you don't exercise your right to have your constitutional right to have a voice, then shut the hell up. And if you don't live in this country, shut the hell up. You don't have a dog in this race.
But they can go vote. Here's the thing, though. If I lose the presidency, which the polls are kind of shaky right now, I don't trust polls. I may win, but if I don't,
do you have your concede speech? Do you have your concede speech? I have one ready. Available? Okay.
Yeah, I have one ready.
So you're doing all the proper steps.
Yeah. And if I don't win here, I'm going to go ahead and run for Prime Minister of Australia.
Absolutely.
Hell, they couldn't do any worse than voting for me.
and whatever you do when you run for primey in Aussie.
Yeah.
Do not disclose your tax records, because it's a foreign country. You're not required to.
That's right. That's
right.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And if that don't work, I'm sure the UK right now, the UK's got a pretty decent guy. I mean, he's an oddball, but sometimes that's what you need in politics. Is an
They're all
oddball.
oddballs. They're all
Yeah.
oddballs. You got to be an oddball to want the responsibility and the nonsense that goes with it.
Who in their right mind would want to, run for president? I mean, I wouldn't. In all reality, I ran, and this has been fun, and I'm a 2-word speech starting with "f you."
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe what my concession speech is.
And the last word is period.
Yeah, period. Yeah. But
howdy, Bill. Howdy, Bob.
I'm drinking my out of my Grumpy Vlogger mug. It's got a crack in the handle, but I'm treating it very delicately.
I got a new mug.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Sailing GBUs, sailing good, bad, and ugly.
Oh,
that's some kids that a couple years ago bought a sailboat off of Craigslist for $5,000. It needed a lot of work. It still needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, a boat's a hole in the water you constantly pour money into, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, they're doing what's called cruising. And I follow a lot of sailing channels, a lot of cruisers.
Right. Yeah.
And,
so does my son, James.
I just wanted to give them a shout out. I meant to do it last night and I forgot to.
Well, that's good. Good.
But Matt and Kristen, couple of wild rebels, so to speak.
Right. Hey, I look at what some boat, BOAT, bring out another 1,000.
Yep.
Boy, is that not the truth?
That is.
Well, it's like when we had that flood a year ago. A year ago this last spring in Muskogee. My son's boat was sitting out there where the flooding was at. Well, you think a boat's going to float. Well, unfortunately, the seaports, the sea valves were open, and it just sunk. And he didn't have insurance on it because when they classified it as a steel hull, and it's not. And that's the manifest that the insurance company used, or the titling that they used on, showed under the number that it was a steel hull boat. And he says, no, my title right here says, and they've even looked at, it's not, it wasn't a steel hull boat. And so they just canceled his insurance on him. And so at the end of the day, he just had to, write it off. He just had to, and they put quite a bit of money into it, but that's the thing with boats. It's always needing repairs. I've owned several of them. I've never got them to run more than one season. That's because I buy them used. If I bought a new one.
My last one was a 22 or 24 foot. It was aluminum hull. Who makes it?
Right.
Man, I can't even think of the name of it. I remember the name of the boat, Libra 3, but that boat, I'll think of the name of it. But that boat had a straight six, a General Motors straight six with a Merc Cruiser stern drive on it. Sleep 4 had a full cabin, no head, but it had, I guess you'd call it a half galley and stuff. It had the stove and the sink and the fridge. Yeah. Maybe that's a full galley, but.
Welcome, Jim.
Hey, Jim. I took that boat. It was trailerable. I trailered it, so I kept it at home, kept it out of the water. Right. Cleaned the salt water off of it all the time. This is when I lived in on the West Coast. Put it in the marina in Oceanside. We'd spend weekends on the boat. We'd take the boat out and stay out, on the boat, out in the ocean all weekend.
Right.
2 or 3 of my buddies would come down. We'd leave out Friday afternoon about 3:00, and we'd be at the fishing grounds 130 miles out to sea by daybreak Saturday morning, and not come back until Monday evening. I had a 450-mile range. I could go out 130 or 140 miles, run around for 3 days, and still come back. It was had a great time with it. That I should have never sold that boat.
Right.
That was the absolute best boat that I've ever owned. I bought it used, but it was in good shape when I got it, and I didn't have to do a lot to it, and just normal maintenance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fantastic boat. I spent many a night on it without even the inkling of the ability to see land being so far out.
Right.
Just and never worried a bit.
Well, I bought it was a 73, and I can't remember what model. It was a tri-hull. Beautiful little tri-hull. And it looked in good shape, everything looked nice on it. It was a walk-through front. It was had the what is it, Bimini top, or what do they call those?
The Bimini top, yeah.
Bimini top, yeah. And it it needed some work done on the engine, so I took it up to the boat shop, had them go through it, had them fix, replace what needed to be replaced on it, and took it out in the water. And every time we get on the throttle, you'd kind of get this hill in the back of the boat, and it starts spraying up water everywhere. Well, turned out the where the motor mounted, the stern, back of the boat. Transom. Yeah, transom. Mine went. I could not think of that word at all. The transom was rotted, and every time we got out, that motor would try and drive up underneath the boat. So we got back to shore pretty quickly after we figured out what the problem was. And then I found another boat that didn't have a motor on it. Well, I had a good motor, but then the motor sat, and it's got to be completely gone through again, and I just haven't had the wherewithal to get it fixed. So it sits out there next to the side of the house, and that's probably sit there. I did sell the other tri-hull. I traded it off for some work done around my cabin. So, it was going to have to be hauled off anyway. So I made a little money off of it, and but anyways, that's the way my luck is with boats.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I tell you, I had one. It was like an Interceptor.
Welcome, Rick.
And one day, a buddy of mine and I just had the transmission rebuilt in the lower end on the outdrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And took it straight from the repair shop in not La Jolla, El Cajon, which is kind of inland from San Diego.
Yeah.
Took it straight to Mission Bay and put it in the water because I wanted to test it out before I hauled it all the way home.
Right.
Well, all the bridges in Mission Bay, and there's several of them that create the actual bay, they all have a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit, no wake while you cross under a bridge. So I'm crossing under a bridge, and I got this buddy of mine with me, and this young gal, probably, I don't know, I'll say 20, 25 years old, didn't weigh 100 pounds, probably soaking wet, on a 3-seat jet ski, one of those big ones.
Oh, well, yeah.
Now my boat looked more like an old beat up fishing boat than it did anything else. So it was kind of misleading.
Misleading, yeah.
Well, my buddy John, he starts talking to this gal on this jet ski because he was thinking about getting one, and he didn't know if he wanted to get a 2-seat or a 3-seat. So he was asking her how fast it is and stuff, and talking to her about it, maintenance, things like that. I mean, we're just putting along, right? Literally side by side. And she said, well, if you think you can keep up with me, I'll show you how fast this thing is. I said, okay. We agreed that we'd go full throttle as soon as we hit the no wake cones, no wake buoys.
Right. Yeah.
We hit the no wake buoys. She hit full throttle. I hit full throttle and pulled up and left her. And so that 3-seat jet ski had virtually no weight on it. I mean,
Yeah.
So but it was impressive. That boat did almost 70 mile an hour, and that jet ski did about 60.
About 60. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I've thought about that, but I'm to the point now. I think with Judy and I, we just have to we'd have to get us a pontoon boat. That's really what we need.
You know what? That's especially if you've got lake or river.
Right.
If you're not going worried about taking it to the ocean, man, I tell you what.
Yeah.
About a 20 or 24-foot party
Yeah,
barge.
I'm thinking about a 20-foot.
Even for just the two of you, for the most part, 18-footer, would do.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do an 18-foot easy, and I you know, I I'm cheap. Okay, here's my problem. I'm cheap on a lot of stuff, and
You're not cheap.
I'm frugal.
You're
Okay?
industrial frugal.
Yes, and so that's why I bought the tri-hull, because they were cheaper outboard motor, and cheaper than it was just. And I went with something that was really inexpensive, and I've gone through two boats, still the same motors, great little motors, and an 80, I think an 80 horsepower Evinrude, or no, it's a Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's good engine. It's just the parts are hard to get, and most of what you get now is used because
And
they just don't. It's a 75 motor.
It's at that age where it's time to, as Sonari would say about some other topics, let it go, right?
Let it go. Yeah,
let
exactly.
It go.
Yeah, and that's it. I really just need to get rid of it, and hello Metro Drones and Rick
Hello
Albers.
Metro Drone.
But yeah, and that's been my problem. I should have I actually had more than enough money to have bought a pontoon, and what I ended up spending on this I could have got a nice running pontoon.
Yeah.
And still saved money, but no, I thought
you still can. Well, it's wintertime now, so they're going to be wanting to move a little bit. So
and
actually, now's about the right time to buy.
About the right time, and I'm in the position to probably get one now. And I hadn't thought about it for a while, but I know Judy would love to have a pontoon because we could take her wheelchair on it. I could just wheel her right down the dock and just roll her right onto it.
Yep.
Make sure I stop before I hit the end so that she didn't fall off. But
be making that commercial, rolling Granny off the end of the pontoon.
yeah. That's going to be part of my new healthcare program. Hey, I've got something.
Easy now.
I got something I want to show you guys. You guys have heard me talk about it, but I brought out my cigar box guitar, and I know I showed it once, but I'm going to actually turn on the amp and just let's see if I got the amp on. Yeah, it's on. Anyways, just show you what it's like, and I mean it's got a decent sound to it. Boy, I hate that pickup. That's what it sounds like with the amp.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but it's got a nice tailpiece on it, so I can, and it's having a little problem staying in tune, so I probably need to tighten these up. Well, there goes that pick. That's all right. I got 3 or 4, but yeah. And somebody, I don't know where it came from, but somebody sent me this really nice guitar strap. And, but yeah.
Recently?
Yeah, they sent it to me after I got this. I don't know who sent it to me, but it just showed up in the mail one day. And
I bet I'd bet a plug quarter that I know who done that.
Well, that would be. Oh, and here is that amplifier you heard. This is the amp.
Yep.
It's a cigar box, And the guy that makes these, it's battery operated. If you're wondering, there's, batteries go in the back right here, and it just uses. I think it's a 9-volt system, but he uses double A's. But And this is the slide that I use on. It's just I've got, that 2-sided tape that you get, or not, it's not 2-sided, but it's kind of a foam tape that they use in hospitals.
Yeah.
Well, these things never fit anybody's fingers right. So because the way I play it is I keep it on that, this way I can still chord, because you can play chords with that too.
Right.
So, but I need to turn that down a little bit. Judy's got the TV blaring. But anyways, I thought I'd show that to you guys because
That's cool.
Yeah. And I sit down and play about 30 minutes every night just to keep in practice and work on it. I do know, again, I want to thank Rick Halber for my birthday. He sent me some of the best books. I mean, they are nice books. And one of them's like, I don't know, it's a book completely full of Irish drinking songs, all on a 3-string guitar. That's tuned to an open G. Let me bring Ron in there. Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Okay. You're on again.
Yeah.
I got to tell you guys last week, he thought I'd kicked him out, and he's sitting there and he's not paying attention. He's was it last week or week? Yeah, it was last week.
Last week I was sitting there eating some potato chips.
Eating it. And so I text him, I said, "What are you eating?" He goes, "Potato chips." And he finally looks up, and I'm going, he had no idea. He says, "We're not live, are we?" I said, No. I said, "Stream shut off," but he was still inside of StreamYards, and just
Bob says, "Play some more."
Yeah.
Well, I may in a minute, but I like the sound of that, because we was talking. I forgot who I was talking with. Oh, it's Kelly Shores. We was talking about it, and of course, that was sort of a little bluegrass lick, and but they're fun to play. It's easy, and that was the thing I really liked about the book, that one of the books that Rick got me for my birthday. I mean, they are nice books, and one's about building one. It comes with patterns on how to build your own, and anything that's a cigar box guitar. They have the diddly bow, which is a 1-string version, and then they have patterns for a 4-string. 4-string, you can make more chords. Well, you can make your chord sound a little fuller. I like the 3-string because that way I can use the 3 fingers and then the one for the slide, and that allows me to chord and slide either one. So what's going on with you, Ron?
Well, spent the day preparing my side-by-side for 3 weeks of hunting. I have like 2 more days off, and then I'll be leaving for work for 5 days, and then I'll actually be out till Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I won't see you guys for the rest of the month.
Oh, well, I'm glad I caught you then.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
What, Lloyd, are you cold, Jim?
Lloyd, our Southern Campaign headquarters has gotten crazy. It's
God.
68 degrees in Florida. I don't know what happened.
Wow.
Well, Lloyd, you said at the beginning of your campaign that if...
I hate this camera.
Why? It's doing pretty good.
These are all for vote for me, I'll set you free. And don't they understand we're running?
Well, I know. I just, and I told everybody tonight. So down here in this, that corner down there, you are broadcasting from the South Dakota campaign headquarters, right there, Ron?
Ron's got the South Dakota headquarters.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you've shown that enough times, Lloyd, but God darn, that thing was funny. I had so much fun.
It's hilarious. It's one of my favorites. It really is. You put a lot of work into it. We had this discussion last night. Your ears must have been ringing probably because Mel and I were talking about your photography and we I don't know if we talked about it so much on the show, but we did a little bit after the show.
No, we did a little bit on the show.
On the show too.
Yeah, because I was showing a new trick in Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, but if you're a professional photographer, photographic artist, you're going to set the shot up and do it all on camera with your naked eye and what the camera does.
Right.
And just do minor tweaks to correct any possible problems with it, but replacing a whole background takes away from what you've got framed in your mind of the photograph. And that's kind of what I was talking about, and then we got on to discussion, sort of like fake boobs, so it went downhill after that.
Yeah. I think I said, hey, boobs are boobs,
Yeah. He was right along to go with it too,
Yeah.
In a pinch, they will do.
Yeah.
If that's all you can get hold of, that's all you can get hold of, right?
Right.
Yeah. America, man.
They're still proud at 60. That's what I like about them.
So what's your temperature supposed to get down to, Jim?
I don't know.
32?
It was 75 5 minutes ago. The sun dropped and.
Well, I know that Lloyd said that he didn't have a snowball's chance in hell at winning the election unless hell freezes over. And
it looks like Florida's going to.
It's headed that way.
Yeah.
What the hell's been going on there?
It's well, I can tell you why it's not as warm as it was, because most of the big campaigners have left Florida now to go work in Pennsylvania and a few places like that. So they took all the hot air with them.
Good. Good job.
So, Ron, what do you really think about the ability to just like basically one click replace the sky in an image?
Well, I like that with Luminar 4. That's it's pretty neat. It's when you replace the sky, it'll actually it'll change your lighting. So then you got to actually kind of work with that as well.
Right. You got to do a little bit of color correcting and stuff.
Right.
But if you've got a shot that,
hello, Brent Nunley.
Hey, Brent, like for example, if you're doing a real estate shoot,
right
now with this, it makes it a lot easier to do a real estate shoot on a cloudy day. Change the sky, color grade the image a little bit, and you know what I mean?
Doing that with an Adobe product?
Yeah, that was Adobe Photoshop.
Really?
Adobe Creative Cloud 2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should use that cloud, the sky, match the sky that you have on the side of the truck with the eagle on it. You know what I'm saying? Color-wise?
That was a good-looking sky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That whole image was good-looking, but anyway.
Yeah, that was a good shot. So, but that's what I was talking about, last night, because
draw the color in, Jim. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, bring in the color so that
it would meld.
It would meld together. Yeah, give it a balance. So, but yeah, editing magic is what Ray Kelly says.
Get it? It would meld.
It would meld.
Didn't even know I said that.
That's what makes you a good politician.
Didn't even know.
Yeah, you say stuff you don't even know.
Say things you don't know and don't know what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That sounds like another politician.
Yeah, I will not get down in the gutter with those guys, so I'm just going to say I'm better than all of them and vote for me. So we're just going to,
Well, I did.
Well,
I showed my voting form on live YouTube. So
you know where the line "Vote for me and I'll set you free" comes from, right? It comes from the song "Ball of Confusion."
Yeah. The funny thing about that, Lloyd, that was actually the first, I think, clip I started to film when I was standing there with that horse.
Right.
When I'm saying, hey, I'm reporting live from Grumpy's Bar and Grill, and I was sitting there thinking about your, bite me, and that damn horse come up and bit me.
I know that you couldn't. That's the thing. You couldn't have set that up if you'd wanted to. That was just one of those natural things. And there again, that goes with your luck of environment or whatever it is. You always manage to get the shots. The rest of it's just like, how the hell do you do that?
Well, I get the camera settings and stuff. I understand how all that works.
Well, yeah, no,
but
I'm just saying
the location is.
Yeah, well, there again, Ron's blessed with a fantastic location, but there's some pretty country around here too. If you
Well, sure there is. But we don't get we don't
have the big sky look.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's it.
I actually get jealous. I actually belong to a Facebook group. It's called Wyoming Through the Lens, and you actually have to join, and they actually kind of have to approve you. They send you a questionnaire. Why do you want to join, and all this stuff. Right. But I'll tell you what, some photographers on there are just unbelievable. I watched one the other day. I actually looked at some photos, and there were 3 grizzlies walking in a single file, walking down the side of the road, and the photographs were just phenomenal. I get so jealous, but I plan on this spring. I plan on about a week plus excursion. I'm going to Yellowstone and the Tetons, and I'm not coming back until I get a bunch of photos that I'm totally happy with.
It's not coming back.
He won't be back.
He won't be back. Yeah, well, they'll have to send out a search party.
You become your worst own enemy.
I know.
Your own worst enemy when you're. Oh, I don't like that one. I can get a little better.
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
especially since he was sitting next to the guy from Ron. Where was that guy from the National Geographic?
Oh yeah, Bob Landis. Yeah.
Try and beat that.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a photography story.
He was trying to beat it.
Yeah, he was trying to beat it. Yeah, exactly. Judy was she's been a photographer for years, and of course we did the 35 millimeter. And I bought her a 35 millimeter one year for, I don't know, Mother's Day or something. I can't remember. It was a nice one, nice lenses. And we were living here, and we went up to Colorado, and we went up above, I can't remember what the place is, Fort something is up above Lake Granby outside of, up there in the Colorado mountains. And we were going up to a state muzzleloading shoot. Now, because my brother was muzzleloader of the year, and it was going up there for that. And no, he wasn't. We were just going up to visit. And we went up there, took this old beat up motorhome we had. Judy was cussing me because at the time I had just gotten out of the wheelchair and I wasn't driving. I didn't have my license back. And so she had to drive all the way up there. And she was cussing me because we got into Denver like 8 o'clock at night. She doesn't know her way around. I'm telling her how to get to where my brother's house is. Finally, I said, okay, here, we can pull off here. This thing is barely making it 45 miles an hour. And it's just turned out one of the cylinders wasn't, one of the spark plugs was completely fouled, and the spark plug cable was off. So she was running this V8 on 7 cylinders, So she was, and when I finally told her to pull off, turned out it was about 5 minutes from my brother's house. Oh my God, I thought she was going to kill me, because we went through all that downtown traffic, through I-25, all those interchanges up right through the middle of downtown Denver.
That's brutal.
We were from Kansas. Yeah, she was pissed. But anyways, so we go up in the mountains, and this thing, we didn't find out that the thing was only running on 7 cylinders until we came back out of the mountains. And when it pulled up and finally got to the top of the camping area, it pulled up and it just stopped. My brother looks around and says, "Yep, this is where we're camping." We couldn't go any further anyway, so it just wasn't going to pull any further. So she goes around and starts bothering. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever been to like a muzzleloading rendezvous or a muzzleloading shoot or something like that. They wear buckskins. They've got the teepees. We got the real mountain man guys, and I mean, and they're fun as hell to take pictures of. And Judy's going inside their teepees, snapping pictures, and saying, "Oh, here comes the gal with the camera again," and they all smile. She must have taken 20 rolls of film. We get back.
Was the guy with the raccoon hat?
Daniel Boone.
What?
Daniel Boone.
Daniel Boone. Yeah.
Okay. Go
Well,
ahead.
and there's guys wearing fox hats, they're made out of a fox skin. A lot of these guys are trappers and do this full time. And they trap during the winter and stuff like that, and some of them do prospecting. Anyways, these guys, they live for this stuff. They're the whole mountain man thing. And I used to call them buckskinners because they're always walking around in buckskins. And like I said, 20 rolls of film bothered all these people. Came back home, had them developed. I learned something. That little lead of the film that on a roll of 35 millimeter, that little extra part right at the beginning, you're supposed to make sure you get that in the thing.
Yeah.
Crank it 2 or 3 times. Look to see if the numbers are running past, or look to see if not a single shot.
Oh.
Well,
It didn't attach to the roller?
I never got it attached to the rotor. It just slipped off. And then when I wound it backwards thinking it was over, rewind it and then take the roll. It was a whole they were brand new rolls of film. They had nothing on them.
I've done that, man. I bet you that's why they made those. Yeah.
Oh, she was pissed. From that point on, anytime I put a roll of film in for her, she'd take the camera, look at it, give it a little.
Make sure.
Okay. Yeah. She didn't trust me for years. And thank God they came out with digital cameras because I'd still be paying for that mistake. She'd
be willing to burn the first shot just to make sure.
Yeah, exactly. And we did get some videos of it because we had a backup. It wasn't a digital camera, it was a 35 millimeter, but when you put the film in, it would grasp it, and it was an auto loading, so it would grasp it every time. There was no mistaking. But those others, I wasted a bunch of film. And she had bothered everybody, and she must have taken 500 shots during that time we were up there. She got 50.
Wow.
Yeah. And they weren't the best shots because it was me taking the picture with the backup camera, just in case something, she wanted to blend something together, No, I never heard the end of that. Sometimes she'd just be in a hurry and said, "Hey, here, hand me the small camera." And she'd go, "Yeah."
I miss my old medium formats.
Oh yeah. Medium format cameras.
Giant length cameras, but man, the detail.
Mine was a Mamiya, Ron.
Mamiya, you have the Mamiya 645?
Yep. That's exactly what it was.
Yep.
Ray Kelly says everyone has made that mistake, Lloyd. Well, not the millennials because they don't know what it's like.
They don't know what it is.
We don't have any millennials here, do we?
Yeah.
I don't know, Jody?
Jaybird, maybe.
No. Jaybird, maybe.
He's kind of young.
Matt's not here, and I know Brent Nunley isn't.
And I think Angela's old enough that she would not qualify as a millennial. Sorry, Angie, you're over age.
No,
yeah. Well,
what's that?
Did you sell yours as well? Your Mamiya?
My 645?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I sold that when I got out of doing studio portraits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
But
nice lenses and
I still have my Novatron.
She says she don't count. She has common sense.
I don't remember the number, but it's a 4-head studio strobe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 4-head. What's it called? You can plug 4 heads into it, but I only have 3. I have side light. A main light, a side light, and a backdrop light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
So I've still got my studio strobe stuff, and I still have that and all the umbrellas, and I actually have the adapter that I can plug into the cable that operates it, that fires it,
right?
That would plug into my Nikon.
Mm-hmm.
So I could actually use it with my Nikon.
Now here's a camera I'm going to show if I can remember how to open it. Let's see.
My go-to film camera in the day was a Minolta XD11. I still have that.
Yes, I remember that one.
I've got that in 3 lenses. I had a motor drive for that camera, Ron, that would go through 36 exposures in about 16 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is I can't get it open. This is uses like the old 120 film.
Yeah.
4x6.
2220 film.
Yeah.
Medium format.
And
I've got one of those from my father. It's in a gray leather case. They're all leather cases. Yeah.
This one I actually ordered from Russia. This is an actual Russian. It's called a Moskva 5, and it's Russian. I ordered it from Russia, and it's got the diaphragm. I can't remember how to open the damn thing.
Well, there's a release trigger either on the bottom or the top of the frame, probably.
Can you still buy 120 and 220 film?
I don't know if you can still buy 220 film.
I don't know if you can buy the 220, but anyways, this is.
Yep.
Yeah, with the bevel lens and.
Yeah.
Remember the song "Mama's Got a Squeeze Box"?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. The button was right up here on top, and there's a picture of. Yeah, it's like, but it's a nice, it's a nice looking.
I might still have. I've got one like that too, and I think it was a Kodak though. I don't think it was. I don't remember.
I think it was.
But I had a brownie box. I think I still got the brownie box. That takes 110 film, 110 or 120.
I had one sitting right here somewhere. Can't remember where it was at, but yeah, this is. I ordered this. I don't know. Probably about 15 years ago, I ordered it from Russia because you can get them cheaper in Russia than you can. Now, if you want to do, I forgot what the thing is. This is the close-up finder, because this isn't SLR, so it's you just got a little peephole finder and you flip that out to give you a close-up. So I knew how to use it, but I haven't touched it in so long.
Is it a dumb question to ask how many megapixel those cameras are? I mean, I know they're full frame. They're full frame, but
yeah,
like in today's terms, how many megapixels does that equal?
When I actually was selling my Mamiya, and I had Bronica, but the Mamiya 645 AF, which is the autofocus and everything, had the motor drive in it. They were just coming out with the digital backs. Now you had a film back that you had your 120 and 220 film in.
Right.
They were just coming out with the digital backs, and they were somewhere around 15 grand.
Yeah, big bucks.
Yeah.
The greatest in technology.
Yes.
They said your megapixel was somewhere between 18 and 24 megapixel.
I think that's what I was thinking too about.
Yep.
Upwards of like between 18 and 24, like 20 megapixels, some of them. And I think it depended on what kind of back you got for it. I think you could order it in different.
But they were unbelievably expensive. Oh,
yeah.
I got it, Jim.
They still are. Anyway, so I'm going to set that over there because I got to figure out how to fold the damn thing up again. But that's the way you used to take pictures. And no, folks, that was not a Polaroid.
Yeah,
but an actual film camera.
I mean, you guys knew. You guys were photographers, but guys like me, we never knew what the hell we were shooting. And look what you pay now. You pay a couple of grand for trying to reach those same megapixels and full frames. And I think right now we just got the Sony full frame camera, right?
Yep.
That RS or whatever it is.
Yeah.
50, 100 years later.
Yeah. It's amazing though. The difference in prints. If you were printing your own, like in my darkroom, I only did black and white. I didn't do color work. I sent my color work out because it was too much of a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Color film has to be developed in total 100% darkness period. Right. Whereas black and white, you can work with a safe light, so you can see what you're doing.
Red light.
Put it on your enlarger and create your 4x5, 5x7, 8x10, whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
I had an 8x10 enlarger, so I could do prints up to 8x10. And the difference in quality of image when I printed an 8x10 from the medium format versus 35 millimeter, just night and day, even in black and white film.
Yep.
Just absolutely amazing difference.
And you could blow those up and not lose any pixelization.
No,
You could blow them up to posters.
Well,
you still get it. Wouldn't be back then. We didn't call it pixelization. We didn't know what pixels were because we didn't have digital.
But didn't have digital.
But grain or
grain's right.
Yeah. Or dirt, we call it dirt. It's a dirty image.
Yeah.
It's grainy.
But you get the grainy image. The larger they. Now, this is the 120 220. Is that a medium format?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's a medium format. Yeah.
Your 120 was, what was that? 12 or 15 exposure, Mel, and the 220 was the 30 exposure. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. I think that,
120, I think, was
12 or 15. I think
12.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with 12. That sounds right. You know how long it's been since I've done that, Ron?
I know. What same here?
Well, there again, that's what a lot of these young people don't know, or anybody who's not been in photography. You see, I've always been a fan of photography. I suck at it, but I've always been a fan of it. I was basically, when somebody goes out and does a photo shoot, and you got that goofy guy standing back there holding all the bags and handing the camera the lens. That's me.
Yeah.
I'm just coming into when I started with the drones. I mean, I had cameras before, but I really didn't care. And then now it's driving me crazy. I want a better and better picture. If it says this, I want to get that. You know what I mean? That's what's driving me nuts now.
It's hard to achieve that, though.
Rodney Bell just showed me a picture he did with his it was one of the Android phones. I think it might have been the Note 10 or whatever. Right. But he did this photo. I think he was out in Oregon, and he put the camera or the phone camera into night mode. This photo is phenomenal. The moon and this bridge and the foreground, how it was lit up, it was just phenomenal. It's like that's from a phone.
Yeah, I know.
Incredible. Yeah.
Chris Hope, how are we doing at the polls, Chris? Do you have the latest information?
Yeah, Chris is in here. Hey, Chris. Yeah. How we doing down in Texas? You heard any news in the polls out of Texas? How we're doing on the election?
Grumpy vlogger doing down in Texas.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't that just be funny? Just to all of a sudden.
Just one. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like.
See it on screen.
Grumpy vlog. Yeah, see it on like, who's the grumpy vlogger? Who the hell is this guy? Talk about screwing up the polls. They would like, oh, where'd this come from? We never saw this happening.
Let's go for him.
Hey, don't forget at the top of the hour.
They can't put you in a Republican, Democrat. They'd have to make a new category.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm not an independent. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not libertarian. Republican.
Republican.
Yep.
You know how it took me about 2 days to work all that out to say it. And then it took me another week just to learn to say it.
Help at home, Jim just said, heard our buddies in San Antonio ran the Biden-Harris bus out of town.
There's
the FBI is actually investigating an incident where a Trump train or Trump caravan or whatever they're calling it surrounded a Biden bus in Texas.
Oh,
I saw that.
Yeah.
Gee, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad that the FBI is investigating. It's not too bad what they did.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, I look at it this way. I mean, everybody who follows me ought to know by now that I am a conservative, and
I couldn't tell.
If you couldn't, yeah.
Why are we all of a sudden conservatives? Why aren't we normal?
Well, that's it. I don't necessarily. I think Indian Republican really does fit who I am because there's some things I'm probably a little more liberal than the far right wing.
I never labeled myself as an 18-year-old voting. I would just vote for the right guy, and it just came out Republican every time. That's not my fault.
I was talking about.
Come on, for Christ's sakes, you people voted in Jimmy Carter. Give me a break.
I was talking. Did you serve under Jimmy?
Yes, I did.
Oh, was that not a Charlie Foxtrot?
Oh, Jesus Christ! The rapid deployment.
Did you serve under Jimmy?
Yes, I did. How come I'm here?
Oh, he's listening to the show.
I'm sitting there in the Marines, and you got Jimmy Carter as president, weeping, crying. Let me cry, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
79 days.
Were you in 77?
Yeah.
Do you remember when they didn't have the budget in 77 on the October 1st of 77? We were told in the Air Force to bring our uniforms on a hanger. We were not allowed to dress that day. And it wasn't until 3:30 in the afternoon that we got the call in our shop that, well, we could go ahead and get dressed, but there's only 30 minutes left of the shift, so just stay in civvies. But we were in civvies and didn't do any work that day. Of course, it just meant we had to work twice as hard the next day because all that crap got backed up.
Yeah, work doesn't go away, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. You still got it. But yeah, for October 1st of 1977, they did not have a workable budget. And it wasn't until the credit union started calling, the commanders were making in calls to the Davis-Monthan credit union to see if the checks had been deposited, because they were all electronic at that time, and so they called the comptroller to see if they've got verification. Yeah, I know, 5 minutes. And that's what I was going to say. Don't forget, top of the hour, Drone Nation, formerly known as Xeno Nation, will be on. So, but yeah, under Jimmy Carter, we didn't have a workable budget, and at least one year. The Russians could have won that year. They could have taken over. We couldn't generate, in the Air Force, 30 fully working aircraft. I literally, for parts of the A7, the A10, let's see, I was on the A10 by then. We literally had to go out to the boneyard there in Tucson and cannibalize parts off of some of them old planes out there just to have enough to get a squadron up in the air.
We'd have pitched bombs out the bay door of a damn C-130 if we had to.
Well, yeah, we would have.
Still had them in the Marines. I was working A4s and F4s still.
Yeah.
Until the Aviate Harrier came in.
Yeah. But it was horrendous working under Carter because the budget was, that's where we got the notification about the toilet paper shortage, and they spent millions on paper, just to write the orders for every squadron commander to have to read the orders of how many times we could wipe, how many sheets we could have per wipe, how many wipes per day, just so we could just so we could conserve. Yeah, well, we did in the Air Force. Of course, we were all stealing toilet paper from the supply, So so the next day after all this came about, we just went ahead and brought back all the toilet paper we had at home, and they ended up having the supply. The supply room was just packed full of toilet paper because we had enough toilet paper to last the rest of the year.
Good night,
so
Jim.
This isn't the only year there was a toilet paper shortage. The military suffered it in 77. 77 or 78, I can't remember now. But anyways, yeah, we're getting on we're coming up to the top of the hour, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get ready to start the timer and recommend everybody, because
you should have had a new timer ready for today. You know that?
I should have.
Damn election day countdown clock.
Yeah, he started using StreamYards and got lazy. He doesn't do anything anymore.
That's it. I admit it. I use StreamYards and I'm lazy. I come in here an hour before the show, fire up the computer, make sure everything's working, then go back in there and watch TV until 15 minutes before the show starts.
Well, I was almost late. You were talking about everybody else hadn't shown up, or you didn't hear anything back.
Yeah.
She didn't get out of therapy until 5 o'clock, a little after.
How is she doing, by the way?
Therapy kicked her ass today.
Did it? I'll bet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's the goal.
Robert Walker's in.
Exactly. So we get back here to the house, and tonight's menu was pork chops, mashed potatoes, homemade gravy, corn, sliced tomatoes.
No, Jim and Rick were talking about pork chops being done in a foil bag. I got to try that one.
I
Yeah.
I use the skillet from the pork chops to make the gravy, of course.
Right.
And
right.
So literally everything's still on the stove.
Oh crap!
I rinsed plates, poured a coffee, went outside, had a cigarette, came in here and turned the computer on. I mean, it was just that close to not making it.
Yeah. Well,
and,
I was,
and then I get here and you're like, man, I'm sure glad you're here. You're the only one.
Well, yeah, because Art, he said he was doing a drone shoot today of some sort. So
he was in chat a few minutes ago.
Was he? Okay. Well, welcome, Art. I haven't looked.
Not sure if he's still there. I think he is.
There's Sonari. Yep. Sonari, how are you?
Yeah.
But she's in chat. You all can say hello and send your support and
yes, please. That means a lot. And I want to thank all the guys out here in this community that have helped throw into that, because that was just really nice of them. So, and I want to thank you guys. I'm going to start with you, Mel. Anything exciting going on over the next week? Now you've got physical therapy. That's going to be your excitement, right? Taking her to physical therapy.
That and in between things. I'm working on building some new nacelles for the seaplane.
Oh, okay.
I've got some pictures. I just don't have them ready to show tonight, but I soaked balsa, 330 seconds balsa, 6-inch long pieces. And turns out that the rolling pin was just the right diameter to shape those and make them. They're a little bit big, so when I squeeze them down, they'll squeeze down over the motor mount and frame. But it's the perfect size.
You think that's what happened? Water got into it?
Water can't hurt a motor.
Well, then,
it was just a bad motor.
Okay.
And I checked with Bob today, and he's waiting on the RMA paperwork from Horizon to authorize him to send it in so that they can take it apart and look at it and figure out why it failed. And if it's an internal part, being a brand new motor, obviously it's internal. That's where the smoke was coming from. But anyway, they may warranty that motor for me, being it's brand new and never used. That was first install.
Cool.
So, but yeah, Jim, even brushed motors like this one. This is one of the motors that's going in my boat. Okay.
Right.
This is
looks sealed. Is it sealed?
No, not at all.
Okay.
The way you break these in, one of the best ways to break them in is hook them to a battery, drop them in a cup full of water, and let them run.
Why would I do that? Why would I throw an electronic motor in a cup of water?
Because it's not electronic. First of all, there's a difference between electronic and
electric.
12 volt. All this does is create a magnetic field. Right. So there's nothing electrical that can get hurt.
Also, you got to remember
You're trusting the sealant on those copper wires that make the windings that make the magnetic field.
But it's direct current, so it's going one way in, one way out, and whereas alternating current, that would you don't throw an alternating current motor into a can of water.
No, only direct current.
Direct current, yeah.
They do that.
Personally, the only things that have ever happened to me with water have been bad.
Understood.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's common knowledge that brushless motors, it doesn't hurt them to get wet. It does absolutely no damage.
Well, you think about it. All right, you're driving down the road in your vehicle, and your alternator gets wet. That's a motor. That's all it is a motor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're going to get water spray up in there. It doesn't stop it from alternating and from generating current.
And it's actually generating a whole lot more.
Oh yeah.
I will, Bob. I absolutely will. In fact, on my next show, I will, because I've got the speed controls, I've got a radio, receiver.
It makes no common sense, does it, Bob? Thank you.
So yeah, no problem. I will absolutely put it
For my next trick, I'm going to throw a toaster in the tub when you're in there taking a bath.
Yeah. Jaybird says so you can fly in the rain. Here's the problem with flying drones and planes in the rain. It's not the motors that get damaged. It's these electronic speed controls. It's the electronics, not the electric.
It's the stuff in there.
It's the stuff in there because that'll cause shorts across it. There's where you get the shorting out at, is going across the circuit board.
On that.
Do what?
You can put conformal coating on, but
yes,
right.
Just so you know, DJI has a little sticker they put on every ESC that if moisture affects it, you ain't getting warranted. They'll tell you that the damn thing was subjected to water.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, most companies will. So Jim, what do you got going on this week on your show or in your channel this week?
Disseminating 10-bit from 8-bit and getting the D-log or explaining DJI's D-log. And
are you gonna actually interrupt the final hours of the presidential election?
Well,
it's gonna be a landslide. You think this idiot Biden's getting anywhere? I mean, seriously, does anybody think?
All I'm asking is I get more votes than Biden. If I don't win, I understand. But if I get more votes than Biden, I'm going. Actually, that would just be so funny.
I mean, there have been some bad times in history, like maybe Shriver. You remember Shriver? He had
Sergeant
mental
Shriver?
health. Yeah, he had mental health problems. But
yeah, and
poor Hubert Humphrey couldn't get elected if you paid.
Yeah, I remember Humphrey. Yeah.
This is one of those times. It's like Byrd going up for president, but he was 80 or something like that.
Hey, look, Lloyd, I found my ballot.
Oh, there it is.
Where I wrote in.
Yeah, you forgot to send it in.
No, this is actually just a copy.
Yeah, I knew it is a copy. Yeah.
No, it's a copy of the one I sent in.
Oh, it's a copy of the one you sent in.
Yes, I didn't figure I needed to keep it anymore. I don't know if that'll focus, but clearly you can read. Surely it says Lloyd Mendenhall right there on the write-in line under presidential, right there.
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
There it is. Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that vote. And Ron, so what are you going to be doing? Well, you said this is your last
I get about a day and a half of R&R and then leaving for work Thursday, and I'll pretty much be gone till about Thanksgiving. So
you're going hunting.
Going to work for 5 days, and then I'm going hunting for about 2.5, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, so you do have to go you actually have to go to work first.
Yeah, you got to work a little bit. Yeah.
I thought you were talking about going to work in Montana.
Yeah.
And calling it,
it's
going
work.
Hunting and calling it work.
Paycheck,
he drove down the road the other day and he told me, Jim, you should have seen it. There was about 100 antelope. And I said, how many do you see when you're hunting?
Yeah, have you ever noticed that, Ron? You see them all the time, when you go out hunting for something.
Yep.
Yeah. I got to tell you,
that's one of the exciting. I'm really, really excited about next September. I think he's coming. Ted Nugent's coming next September to our lodge.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be a hoot.
Yeah. That ought to be. Yeah.
I'll get him all fired up about Hillary and Nancy Pelosi and
yeah, he's one. Yeah, that'll get him wound up.
You guys want to hear a real quick funny story? Just real short.
Sure. Okay.
I'll keep it short as I can.
Why? Tell it.
What?
Tell
Okay.
We're already over, so
we vote, and the Electoral College is what actually casts the vote for the president, right?
Yeah.
Now, the Electoral College, those people are selected by the senators and all that stuff, okay? Hillary Clinton, speaking the lady's name, phrase used loosely, is an electorate this year. So imagine she's an electorate for the state of New York. All of the liberals have fled New York because of COVID. So the only thing left is a handful of conservatives and a handful of liberals. If New York State actually goes to Trump, Hillary would have to cast her electorate vote for Trump. Wouldn't that be an irony?
She'll have to kill everyone too with her.
Well, actually, what they did, the way it works, it would be funny if that's the way it worked, but I think that you when you cast your vote, there are X amount, but depending on how many electoral votes there are, there's X amount of Republicans, X amount of Democrats. Okay, so let's say here in Oklahoma, we have 10 electoral votes, okay? Or 8. I mean, we have 8 electoral votes. There are 16 people that count as our representation of the Electoral College, but only the Republicans, because we're a winner-takes-all state, only the Republicans will be sent up to the Capitol to cast their vote for if Trump takes the state. If Biden should take the state, God forbid, then those 8 Democrats will be sent up to cast.
True, but it doesn't matter Republican or Democrat. If there's enough Democrats that vote for Trump,
that's true.
Then Hillary would have to carry her Democratic vote to Trump.
Yes, that's right. She would. You're right.
Because she's required by law, and they really don't enforce it, and they don't push it much, but she would have to, binding her electoral college contract, she would be required to cast her vote for Trump if her delegated group says Trump.
Right, and I know several states have enacted it, and I think it's even been upheld by a couple of lower court cases that if you're sent up as a member of the electorate, you have to cast the vote for the way the electorate is set up. That's what they tried to do in 2016. That Hollywood elite tried to get all of their, you should feel bad. You should vote for the other guy. You don't have to. Well, they fixed that in a lot of states. Yeah. You do.
They are supposed to.
Yes. And I think there's actually, there's a federal ruling now, and they can be fined. Pardon me. I had
for going against
tonight. Yeah.
Yep.
They vote. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's happened in the past, and a few people have been brought up.
And see, they have to go. That happens in White House, usually in Washington, usually at the White House. They all sit down and the form gets passed in front of them, and they all check their box and sign their name to it, for what their electoral committee has mandated that they throw their vote for, and it's in public. It's in front of all the other electorates. So you pretty much have to do what.
And I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I studied that part of it, but 4 years ago I looked at it, but I've slept since 4 years ago.
I've never looked that far into it, but I thought the popular vote should win.
Not
I don't know.
necessarily.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if
That's how.
51% of the people vote for somebody, that person should win.
That's not how Obama got reelected. Wasn't by the popular vote.
And
No.
be glad that popular vote doesn't do that. Otherwise, Hillary would be the president right now.
Yeah.
Because
reason
according
it's done
to
that-
all the statistics, she
And
had
she did have the popular vote.
by 300 votes or some nonsense.
Oh,
Now, for God's sakes, when I was in, because I always go in to vote, which I will be doing tomorrow, they were sitting there, people who voted for him, laughing and all that. They were voting for him because he was not me.
what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like Jaber just said, popular vote would eliminate the small states because, you know, you have congested population like in, well, look at Los Angeles. You know, Los Angeles has a bigger population, and so does New York City.
And Manhattan
Bigger
has
population
9
than some,
million,
than some states do. You know,
But so that's it. That's the reason for the electoral
That's the
vote,
reason for that.
because the coasts would determine
right.
the rule.
they would
Evens out
have the
score.
largest amount of population.
Exactly.
And of course, they're predominantly the both the left and the right coast are predominantly liberal.
Left coast. Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
Well, screw them all. I'm voting for the grumpy vlogger. So
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
y'all saw
I keep
mine.
telling people-
I mean,
I keep telling people if you were thinking about voting for Biden, and you just want to throw a vote away, throw it away my direction. You know.
Yep.
Of course, this gentleman down here is my VP.
yeah,
I noticed how you logged in. Former vice presidential candidate.
Former VP elect is my
Yeah.
name, wherever it is.
So you've already conceded, Jim?
Yeah,
A day
come on,
before the
come on.
election?
I think he was expecting me to make a concession speech tonight and to throw my support behind Trump. And the way I'm wording it is,
There you go.
if you're not going to vote for Trump, then vote for me instead.
Right.
yeah.
Because even as senile as I am, I'm not as senile as Biden. So
And like remember, like that video I did said, hurry to the polls. Remember those
Yeah.
cows going across?
all those cows going across. Yeah. I will. I may, I may. Well, you're doing your show tomorrow night, right, Jim?
yeah.
I may jump on and give you a campaign update tomorrow night
Yeah.
just for a few minutes. So make sure you send me a link if I don't fall asleep, which I sleep
Highly
like a sleep,
likely.
so- Yes, it's highly likely. I may come on with my robe, put my mask on and come on in my robe so I don't catch COVID from anybody on the panel. So. Well, guys, we've got. Mel just.
I have to find my my collar and my black shirt because it is the Right Reverend Jim since 2004. Right
Oh, are
Reverend
you,
Jim of the Universal Life Church. I've been ordained.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
have
actually
the collar,
bought the
but-
collar and the shirt. Yeah.
I'm
Come on
actually
tomorrow
ordained.
night.
Don't we make a great combination, both of us?
Are you Universal Life Church too?
I'm actually ordained under 3 churches.
Okay, I'm just
I was
Universal Life Church.
I was an actual minister years ago. I was an associate pastor at a Pentecostal church and did that for years. Well, till I got divorced, and they don't like divorce in that church, so I was like, screw them.
I'd love to see the two of you on a Sunday morning sermon.
Well, yeah, it could, it was.
It's a little dirty.
Casey says,
Yeah.
keep the show going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was, but yeah, I am an ordained minister, and one of them is through Universal.
I got a feeling that Sunday morning would be about the time that Lloyd did his best Foster Brooks impersonation.
Yeah, yeah.
Foster Brooks was great.
Oh,
Great.
He was a.
me, I was in one of those moments with my wife. that earthquake hit. Scared the daylights out of me. Damn near woke up my wife.
Didn't spill a drink, a drop.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the day, yeah, I did. But yeah, I've.
But
Like
on
I said,
another front, he did one hell of a. Do you remember his video on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes.
He sits there and spells it out.
Oh no, that was Red Skelton.
Red Skelton. Yeah.
Oh,
Red
yeah.
Skelton. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, it was Red Skelton.
I
Yeah, 'cause
twisted
I
it
just
up.
watched it. Yeah, it's
That is excellent.
that's probably one of the best explanations of it that I've ever seen, and I think it's something that young people need to learn. Still, I've been interested in politics.
Pledge
since
allegiance to the flag, and none of that to the kids. I bet they don't know it. Can't sing
Probably
it.
not. Yeah. Yeah. I had I got interested really. I had a teacher that was in 5th grade. She took the Pledge of Allegiance and put it in modern terms. Of course, she was a Republican, so that's why I liked her. But she put it in modern terms and brought it up to date. Instead of "I pledge allegiance," it's "I promise my loyalty."
Yeah,
That's she brought it up to, and we did that. I used to have it all memorized, but it's been a hell of a long time since I was in 5th grade.
I know, and that's a shame. And if you don't keep in touch, I mean, I didn't even know kids don't learn cursive anymore.
I found out from my grandkids
that
they didn't learn it. And actually, that's one thing I'll give my daughter-in-law credit to is she's taught her boys how to, it's my youngest son's kids, taught them how to write cursive. She thinks it's something they need to know. And it is,
Well, what are you going to do when you sign a mortgage? Put an X there?
Yeah, right.
I mean, we don't sign much anymore, but
right. Yeah.
No. Yeah. By the time that kids that young do anything like that, it'll all be government owned, or they'll scan the barcode on your wrist and it'll be a done deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What was that?
Far away from that. We're not far away from that. We're using that stupid plastic card for everything now. So.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All the stores got signs up that say change shortage. Please use your card if you can.
Yeah.
I deliberately pay with money because, I mean, that's just another
Mason.
way to be tracked.
Yeah. And I apologize for not seeing Mason was in here earlier, but he said he's got to run. So, but
I said hello to him. I was typing to him.
Oh, did you? Okay, good. Ben Cartwright's in too. I just noticed that.
Ken Hoffbauer came in a while ago too.
I saw Ken was in there. Yeah, and he's up near. He's up in Oklahoma City right now, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. He was by you, Mel. You guys were talking about that, right?
We were talking about last night.
Actually, Lloyd's about halfway between where Ken and I are.
Yeah, I'm right about. Yeah.
Just about halfway. Either direction, I think.
Well, I'm closer to you than I am to Oklahoma City. It's about about an hour and a half drive to Oklahoma City.
About the same to here.
Yeah, it's been so long. I thought it was only like, maybe 50 minutes drive to Fort Smith from here.
Well, the way I drive, it's an hour and a half.
Oh, well, yeah.
It might be 50 minutes for you.
Yeah, maybe what it is. I haven't been there when was the last time I was there? I'll bet it's been 20 years ago since I was in Fort Smith.
Thank you, Bob, for sharing that link of Red Skelton's Pledge of Allegiance. That's
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was good. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a lot of what we have lost in today's, technical society is we've lost all of the we've lost our patriotism. We've lost the simple things,
We've lost all of that, and then we've lost music. Eddie Van Halen just died the other day,
right.
and And, Robert Plant from Zeppelin is still alive. I mean, music changed in our lifetime like never before. And look at it now. It's all a smear of nothing. They don't even play instruments anymore.
Yeah.
They spit in a mic as of 20 years ago. Sean Connery died, and there was a whole class of actor with him, like the Cagney, the Connery, those kind of actors.
Charlton Heston. I mean, all those guys. We've lost
everything.
All of the great entertainers, and But here's the thing: it's cyclic, because I remember, my mother and dad. They were both from the Depression era, or before the Depression era, even. But I remember, Mom had these big. They were albums. They were literally looked like a photo album.
The thick ones,
but they were records inside in a sleeve, and that's where the name album comes from, because you had one song on one side, one song on the other. They were 78, and she had Bing Crosby.
My father had Mario Lanza, but go ahead.
But when all those people, I listened when I was a young man, and she started talking about this star dying off and this star dying off. My parents were a bit older than me. Well, they were older than me, obviously. They were older parents. They were older. I can't believe I said that.
A bit older than me. I hope so.
Yeah.
Frankie.
They were a bit older than I was when I started having kids at 18. My dad was 43 when he had me. I was like, I asked him.
That was a Joe moment, if I ever heard one.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm running for president. I'm allowed to have a
senior moment.
Yeah.
But was it the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge of allegiance. I really do.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden. Yeah. And that's sad that they would, if he loses, this will be the most humiliating loss for him, because after this, I saw a cartoon today. I'm going to say it the way I saw it. There's a picture, and there's a nurse waiting on Joe Biden. He goes, "Did I win?" And she says, "No, you just shit your pants."
Yeah.
But that's unfortunately
that warm feeling.
It's that warm feeling. Yeah. But that's what they've done with this guy. They've taken whether you like him or not, he's been in politics for a lot of years, which I think should never have happened.
Yeah.
But he would be at one point would have been considered a senior statesman of the Democratic Party. And they basically have used that against him to drag him into this race, and he just should have never been put on the ballot, because it's humiliating to him,
They had to put somebody up. Yeah.
What bothers me the most is that, he and his family have to know he's not 100% there. The man has, if he were to be elected, he's going to have the capabilities of the codes.
Oh, yeah.
Nuclear weapons, and I sit there and think about myself and what I do for a living. And when it comes to the point where, it's like, what, from a medical, capacity, I don't have it in me to take care of people anymore. That's the day I'm going to hang up my stethoscope and say, you know what, I'm done. But it bothers me. He don't have the morals.
Right.
To say, you know what, I don't have the mental capacity to run this country, to be the president of the United States. And he's still going through it. And his family's letting him go through it.
Yeah. And I think that's what's more aggravating than anything. I've referenced this before with my dad when we had to, there was a family fight for who was going to be his caretaker. All right.
Senator Burke, how old?
Do what?
At 92 years old, Senator Byrd died, but
but
he was. I remember when he was 80 or something, in there, and that the whole thing of term limits has always bothered me. But you have them for Congress, but you don't have them for senator. What the hell's up with that?
Yeah. Well, and like Jaybird says, the 25th Amendment. That's the problem with Biden be elected. They've already, they're already looking at that.
Yeah.
And uh, it's just really, as I was going to say about my dad. He had to. It finally came down to one of the family members decided to take him for an IQ test to see if he did have dementia or whatever. And he came out demoralized. He didn't do well on the test because he did have dementia. But it wasn't so bad that he had it. It was the fact that he got it thrown in his face. And that was, I think, what eventually caused him to give up, and because it wasn't but 3 months after that, he was gone.
I had to take away my mother's driver's license.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do, man.
It is. Yeah.
But, I got scared for the people she was out there driving among. I said, Mom, you're done.
Yeah.
Well, my mom, she after she'd been in the hospital, and when she came out, I said, "You're moving in with us, and you're not driving anymore." And that's just the way it is. Judy has voluntarily given up her license. I mean, she keeps her license renewed because they know she can't drive, but she doesn't have to take a test. And I guess if push come to shove as an absolute emergency and we couldn't get hold of her, she could do it, but she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to risk anybody else's life. And that's a good thing, Like when I went in the wheelchair, I could have had the thing adapted to with all the hand controls and all that. But I didn't do it because of the medications I was on. I knew that my abilities were impaired, and but for them to take somebody who's given, whether you agree with him or not, whether you like the guy or not, he's given a lot to this country in service, and for his own party and his own family members to take advantage of his declining years like this, I think it just goes to show you the inhumanity that's in that group of people, And this is just
like Ron says, his own family knows.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about him.
No, it's
others
not.
put it up to it.
It's about destroying the country.
Yes.
It's about them having the power to tell us, the little people, where to shit, how to live, what to drink, what to eat, when to eat, when to sleep. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And it's
people fall for this crap until they wake up and say, "Holy shit, how did we get like this?" And because you slept for 20 years, you idiot.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I look back at the time, like in my young days, there would have never been a socialist, even as a VP pick, on the ticket in the days. We've lost in our country. We've given up all of our patriotism. We've given up all of that. And we're allowing a bunch of thugs and punks to take control of our cities,
Well, the Patriot Act is a nasty act. It really is.
The crybabies are going to go nuts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and Hunter's not going to get a free ride. Well, he probably will, but just like Hillary did.
He's got a free pass by the media, but I have an idea that if Trump wins, and I feel pretty comfortable in saying he probably will, unless I do, I guarantee you if I get elected, Hunter's going to jail.
I
better
saw
take Joe with him.
I saw looting the other day, and there's people running around with stuff they stole and that. And I'm saying, this is the worst time in history to ever be a criminal. There are so many cameras with AI, artificial intelligence, that can pick you out of a crowd by your nose, and you're running down the street laughing that you stole something.
Yeah.
Just because the cop didn't see you now doesn't think they're not coming, you idiot.
Ben Cartwright just put up a great saying.
Yep.
You don't cook a frog by throwing him in the boiling water. You put him in the pot and gradually turn up the heat. That's exactly how they're eroding things. You're right. That's well said. And it's it's sad. It saddens me, to see this country turn to what it is.
There's only one way to teach a lesson, though. We keep forgiving and forgetting. When they did the Watts riots, I'd have put a fence around the friggin' area and said, now you friggin' live in it. When if they want to destroy their neighborhood, you live in it now. I'll wall the goddamn place up as VP. You have to live in it. You destroyed it.
Well, they done that in Seattle, right? They put walls up and tried to live in it until they realized they couldn't live there.
But look what Al showed us in California. They're building mobile homes for the homeless.
Yep.
Remember that, Ron?
No, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, well, right now there's work out there if somebody wants it,
even if you don't want it. I worked because I had to while I went to school at night to go get a better job.
Right, and that was the thing. People think that nowadays getting a huge amount of money from McDonald's, enough to be able to buy the $150,000, $200,000 home working at McDonald's, they have no incentive to do any better. Man, I bucked bales in high school. That's some damn hard work. If you've never bucked bales, oh my God, that's the hardest day because it's hot, it's sweaty. Those bales are heavy.
Well, they don't grow up with 6 kids anymore. I grew up in a house of 6 kids. I delivered the Penny Saver, the TV Guide, the New York Daily News. Everything
I did the TV Guide. I had a TV Guide route.
TV Guide was 10 cents. 10 cents. People would screw you out of the dime.
Yep.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You shovel driveways, the snow. You shovel the snow off the driveway. $10.
Yeah.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I will say this right now. I have shoveled cattle trailers in the wintertime. Now, in Colorado, that's a lot of frozen shit.
That ain't easy.
Well, and the thing is they bring these in, late at night. They come in, they unload them, then they take them over to the lot, and you got to get in there and you got to get it before it sets up because when the outside temperature is 10 degrees, I don't care how steaming it is, that crap is going to freeze, literally. So the frozen crap. And I've been out there freezing. And of course, it's wet and it's a shitty job, but somebody had to do it, and that was one that my buddy and I. His dad was a long haul driver and was always bringing it. He was doing cattle mainly, so we got paid good, Yeah, occasionally got a scoop bucket full of the scoop shovel full of cow shit thrown at you. Because the way those things are, they've got these little open areas. They're a lot bigger than that, but little open areas at the bottom, right even with the floor, and you just shovel it out that way, and then eventually you spray it down. But if you're halfway up the trailer and you're trying to get it back down that way, my buddy, he
there you go, working in crews. Timing is everything in life.
Yeah. And
hey, Lloyd, I gotta call tonight, buddy. So
all right. Well, thanks, Ron, for showing up, and
thank you guys.
Enjoy your hunting and be safe at work.
I will see you guys maybe in about a month, and
well, you'll be missed.
Stay in touch. You got my number.
Yeah. And sometime a little after Thanksgiving.
All right.
So,
but if I don't see you,
have me on, Lloyd, and we'll talk to you all later.
Well,
everybody in the chat, have a good night.
All right.
Good night, Ron.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, it was.
He's going to enjoy a little personal time.
Yeah,
yes.
He's going to go give his pillow some head. He's beat.
Actually, he looked more aware and wide awake than I've seen him some other times. He's.
I even texted him. I said, "Man, you look tired." Ron, he goes, "I am exhausted."
The guy gets up at 3:30 in the morning and drives 4 hours to go to work. That's insane. That's insane. Have to have a hell of a lot of coffee on that ride.
But he, he's doing a job he seems to like, and he's willing to put in. He's living in a place that he does like, so he's willing to put in the
Well, that's
the
just
drive
it,
time.
right? You put up
Yeah.
with the good with the
You
bad.
put up with and that's the thing. These people nowadays don't understand that.
Wait. What they don't understand is how much do you think the guy who saves your ass gets paid?
Right.
We don't
Exactly.
get paid a lot as paramedics.
No, neither do police officers. This is part of the problem. My son and I have talked about this a lot. This is part of the problem with these police shootings. Some of them is just the fact that they're undertrained. They're not vetting these people. They're not finding. They're not checking to see if they've got mental problems or they work at
Or they
some
weren't
of
the
these
kid that got beat up in high school and now wants to get back at everybody, so
Yeah,
he becomes
exactly.
a cop.
Yeah, and I see a lot of that. Those you just see a lot of it out there, and
I know in where I grew up on Long Island, and Ray can back me up on this, Ray Kelly, you had to go through a psych exam.
you do
before
here
you
in
could be
Oklahoma
hired.
too.
Yeah.
Every police officer in the state of Oklahoma has to go through the same criteria. It doesn't matter whether you what your training is, your background. You've got to go through it. Have an MMPI, multiple. Forgot what the MMPI stands for. It's a personality test. It's a psych exam. You got to take that. You've got to have so much
temperament to put up with the bullshit.
Right. And that's it too.
I
And
would not be an excellent guy. You come at me with a knife, okay. And then everybody riots 5 days in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that guy. They'd been like the guy that in Philadelphia. They'd been out on that call twice before during the day, and he just, kept pushing it. And it's you come at a cop with, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
That's step number one.
Yeah, and two, Minnesota multiphasic personality inventory. Thank you. I knew one of you guys. I used to know all that. I knew it was Minnesota, but I couldn't remember the rest of it.
You know how I knew that?
Personality inventory.
I knew that from one of the Mindhunter TV episodes.
They don't want to know how many personalities are in my inventory.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Those are very good tests. But in Oklahoma, they've got to go through. I think the academy now is 20 or 25 days long, and the first week is hell week. I mean, it's nothing but running. You may be running from one end of the gym and back and forth and back. Like they do 2 days in football. That's what they're doing. Plus, then they got to go through all the legalities. In every.
So where do you learn the law? At what part do you learn the law? In 25 days, you learn the law? It takes. I can go be a cop in 25 days.
No,
that's after. No,
thank you.
No,
thank you. I hope not.
I said 25 days. I meant 20 weeks. I'm sorry. Not days, weeks. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Days. Okay. No, it's 20 weeks. But the first 2 weeks are physical, and then they start bringing in instructors, and unless you're at one of the big cities like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, most of the time you go to the state police academy here. Yeah. But Tulsa and Oklahoma City and maybe Lawton, Fort Sill, I think have their own academies. So. But everybody has to go through some sort of training, even the rent-a-cops, even our private security, in order to be licensed. And they have different categories. Like in security, you can get unarmed. Well, all All right, that's the least amount. You still have to have an MMPI. They want to make sure that you are mentally capable of not. They don't want you taking out a baton and beat some homeless guy half to death with your baton, just because, or your hasp,
just because nobody was looking.
Yeah. And so that's what they do. And then they go to armed security, and then you have to go through firearms. You have to be certified on pepper spray, which means you got to be sprayed with pepper. Taser, yeah, you got to be hit with a taser. All of those are qualifications.
I don't know if you had. I'm pretty damn sure all the services are the same in this. We had to go in a room with a gas mask.
The gas mask chamber.
Sitting down. Right. So you had it too? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then they throw the tear gas in. Then you take your mask off. Then you do jumping jacks. And then you're allowed out. And your nose and your eyes have never run so much in your life. You look like a pig.
Yeah, because you pull that mask off, snots everywhere. Yeah.
You have to learn
God, I hated
what that gas mask is there for. The hard way.
Your exit, you're in a dark room. At least the one I did. You were in a dark room. And you have one light back there to the exit, and you got to get your mask on, do your jumping jacks, then go and hit that exit. And most guys end up crawling out that exit because they can't, get down on the floor. And because you're in bad shape when they throw that tear gas. Yeah. And with luck, you get this mask on and the seal fixed. Excuse me. Them damn jalapenos are kicking my ass. Well, the way I make them, they're not hot to eat, but they're like any pepper. They're going to give you, they're going to fight back.
The afterburn.
The
after kick.
Well, they don't burn. That's the thing. Jalapenos, the way I do it, I scrape all the seeds out, all of the white vein out of it. I split them in half and completely clean them. Then I put them with cream cheese, like Philly cream cheese. And then I'll wrap them in bacon, pop them in the oven, and cook them for about 40 minutes. And
sounds good.
Then you let them cool down, unless you like the hot. Now, if you want to feel that burn from jalapeno, well, then you eat them while they're really hot. But if you let them cool down to a comfortable temperature, there's not much spice to them.
Well, leave the seeds in them, right? It's the seeds that are the burning part?
It's the seeds that will cause the burning. But also, if they're, because I cook them at 350. So you pull them out of the oven, they're at 350. Well, is if you don't let them cool down, because you can pop them in right after you ate them, and they're if you don't burn your tongue, you're going to get fire from it, from the spice. So, but if you let them cool down to a nice room temperature just above where they're still good and warm, and you're not going to get ptomaine off of them, they're food poisoning.
Have you ever had that? I had that one time in my life.
I've had it twice.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had it twice. God.
Once was all it took. Yeah.
I stopped at a food truck in Huntington, Long Island on Route 110 and got a meatball sandwich. I was starving. And then I went back on the Long Island Expressway to try and make it to my house. I didn't know I was trying to make it. I was just going home. But, you'll shit yourself when you get that.
Yeah, you will.
Nice.
Yeah. I got it when I was in the service. Oh, my God.
My co-driver and I got it in Oklahoma City at the Petro truck stop on the buffet. It was Friday night, and on the buffet, and it was 7 days before Christmas, and I'll never forget.
Yeah, you don't. You don't forget.
They had, on the buffet, they had shrimp, the small ones about inch and a half long.
Yeah.
Well, Raymond and I
love shrimp.
Ate our weight in shrimp.
Yeah.
We left out of Oklahoma City, and about an hour later, we were in just south Oklahoma City, right by Moore. Can't think of the name of the town, but we were both sick. I stopped the truck. We got off the road. I found a hospital, and across the street from the hospital was a hotel, a little motel place.
Right.
We parked the truck there. That guy took us over to the hospital. The ER, they said, food poisoning. Nothing we can do about it.
Yep.
Get yourself some Gatorade, cut it 50%. So it's half and half with water, and just settle in.
Yeah.
We were supposed to deliver El Paso and then Escondido. Actually, we had AT&T switchgear on the trailer, and we spent that weekend and Monday and Tuesday in the hotel.
Close to the toilet.
I'm getting ready to get a call from Judy.
Christmas was like Saturday that year or something, and maybe it was Thursday or Friday, but Monday
I'll be back in just a minute, guys.
We were still in the hotel. Tuesday morning, okay, Lloyd. Tuesday morning, we were finally able to travel. We were both well enough that we could travel. I had to get my truck jump started because it had been sitting in the snow for like 5 days. Okay. So we did our delivery in El Paso. We did our delivery in the hometown on Christmas Eve. And we got home at 7:30 at night, Christmas Eve. We made it home for Christmas, but just barely. Going from El Centro into San Diego.
You were right down by me. That's where I was stationed in Yuma.
Is a mountain. We went, we went through Yuma because we ran 8. We went through El Centro. We got up on the mountain. Okay, you know where I'm talking about then.
Yeah.
El Centro, California. And then you go up the mountain and you drop down into San Diego, right? Into El Cajon and all that.
He means up the mountain. That's a bitch on a clutch car.
Man, I tell you what. Anyway, 3/4 of the way up the top, it was snowing. So the highway patrol had the road closed. Now, this is Christmas Eve. Okay? Christmas Eve. It was starting to get dark. So we waited our turn. We got, waited in line. Traffic was backed up for miles because they had a highway patrol guy escorting like 10 vehicles at a time over the top of the hill. Right? I ended up being the first one that they cut the line off with. So I had to wait till the next guy came. So I get to be the first one.
Yeah.
And the snow's building up. So they got us going. We took off. This is Raymond and I. Had 10 cars behind us. We got to the top of the hill, and the first car to go in the ditch was our highway patrol lead guy. He called me on the CB. He said, "Hey, you got to stop. Block the road. Don't let these cars go." I said, "Stop hell. Are you all right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll get them down the hill. See ya." And we went on, man, because it was just slush. There was no, California's nuts about it. But, yeah, so I led the group of traffic over the hill there into El Cajon because our leader, our fearless,
It's the best thing to do as a car is follow behind one of you guys. You guys with all those tires clear the lane for us.
Pretty much. As long as you don't follow too close. But
yeah, I try and leave it so you guys can see me in the back mirror, in your mirrors.
That's if you can't see our mirrors, we can't see you. That's the rule. But yeah, it's you're absolutely right. Safest place to travel on the road is 200 feet behind a truck.
I got stuck. Now I'm on the other end, Mel, out of Fresno, looking down at LA. I'm stuck in the snow.
Oh, over the grapevine then. Yeah.
I'm stuck in the snow there, can't move. Looking down at LA with the smog and the heat.
Uh-huh.
And we were snowed in, waiting to go on I-5, I think it was.
Yep. That would have been the road.
Mike's off, Lloyd. The most dangerous thing here down in Florida is when it rains in the summertime, because it rains like hell. Not for a long time, but when it rains like hell, and you can't see. So you have people who put their flashers on and pull off on the side of the road.
Yep.
Right.
Some people keep their flashers on and drive on the road.
Yep.
Right.
So now you don't
So
know.
you don't know who's driving and who's stopped.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know why trucks typically don't stop in those rainstorms, Jim?
No, why?
Because when it's raining that hard, not only do you have the rainfall, but you have the bounce of the water back up, right?
Right.
Plus the spray from all the cars. We're above that. We're looking over the top of all that shit. We can still see.
Yeah.
Because we're above it.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, the boss told me that she thought my show was good and it's gone long enough, and I need to put up my toys and head off to bed.
It was the pre-election show, so we went a little.
Yeah, well, and that's why
Yeah.
I went over, because it was pre-election, and I'm going to say this again. Everybody, one, I appreciate everybody who's coming in and stuck with us. We've gone over. Hell, we went almost an hour over. Yeah, we've gone over an hour now, and I appreciate everybody who came in. I appreciate you guys coming in here on the panel, and I still want Curtis Dart, who wasn't here tonight, but he was responsible for a lot of the good graphics. He was responsible for all the great graphics on my commercial. Ron Lockwood for the great video. Each one of you did a video for me that I appreciate that. And Rick Halber and Mr. Graphics, alias Mr. Graphics, they're the ones who did this sign for me and the campaign buttons. That was their and I appreciate all that.
What is
Yeah,
his
Rick
name?
and Jim.
Is that Jim?
Yeah.
Jim.
What's the call sign again? I haven't seen him in a while.
Jim, what's his last name?
He was on not long ago.
Jim Wallace. Jim
Wallace, alias Mr.
Graphic. Yeah.
He's okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He comes and goes. He's got a lot of health issues, and
I know you can hear
sometimes he just has to take time off, I think, to regroup. But which we all do at times.
Sometimes the idiot box, as they call it, gets to you.
Yeah, it does.
Even Poosa Studios has taken some time off.
Yeah, they've. Have they gone back to? Have they started back up or not? They haven't. Yeah.
No.
Who?
Yeah,
What?
it's like
Poosa Studios, Andrew and Ksenia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing their shows now. And same with
it gets tiring.
Jim, the video call-in show. Yeah. He hasn't done anything since January, and it does get tiring. And this is going to be one of those weeks I'm probably only going to put up 3 videos.
Well, come on, we all know how hard it is to get traction, and when you guys spend a lot of time, I don't, making up these sets and getting everything ready and having the computer jive and all that, and then nobody shows up.
Yeah, and
it makes it tough.
I couldn't do it 7 days a week. Once a week. Well, I do 4 shows on a weekend. Because Friday night I do something with Greg. I'm either just in the background, or sometimes I'm usually brought in for a cameo here and there. I do Art's show on Sunday afternoon. I do Mel's show on Sunday evening, and then I do my show on Monday. So over the weekend, I've participated, behind the scenes at one point or another, or co-hosted, on 4 shows, and that's a lot. That's a lot of work. Just it's not really work. I just sit here and run my mouth, but even that gets tiring.
Hey, yeah. Well, try being by yourself and not having anything to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Boom, you're done in 5.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it without having anybody. That's why I like a co-host, and that's why I like this format, especially because it takes the pressure off. I don't have to think of, I didn't even talk about it, but I didn't do any housekeeping tonight, but they've been putting up in the chat where you can buy stuff. And
I don't
tell you
even
what,
worry
those
about
peppers are
that. I
killing me.
made up a damn Teespring account, and I couldn't give a crap what it does. I don't think I sold a damn thing, but to myself.
Well, I've sold quite a bit, over the time period, and I appreciate that. Everybody's bought it, but this was the ending of the final night of my campaign, so I wanted to. And Jim, that's why I was glad you joined in, because
Yeah.
It's it's been fun, and just go vote. That's what Bob Casey just put up. Just go vote.
I always do. I consider
And,
it a privilege. I do.
it is.
I don't do write-in ballots. I like to be there and do it.
Boy, that's me too. That's me too. I like to. I'll get up tomorrow and go down here to the corner, and I'll vote.
See, I'm planning the road ahead for you guys.
The lightning storm.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, maybe lightning will strike twice, and we'll win. God, wouldn't that be a hoot?
Jesus, can you imagine that?
Oh my God!
It strikes a couple thousand times in that video clip.
Yeah, we'd have Secret Service showing up knocking on our door tomorrow evening or Wednesday morning. Say, did you guys really run for president?
I don't even know any lawyers to hire.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
That's okay. They'd all be provided for you.
Where the hell did you get that video from? That's a hell of a storm.
I made that video. I filmed it and everything. Yeah, absolutely, I did.
No, sorry. No. Well, looks like we got somebody here that needs to. There we go. Just take care of that.
Ashika, Journey, ND.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see any of it. So all right.
Yeah. I just timed him out.
AKA Chic. Journey ND Sky.
Whatever.
All right. I'm gonna wrap it up. Say goodnight.
Yeah. And thanks everyone for being here. Jim, appreciate it.
Good night, guys.
And all right, you have a good night, Jim. And
talk to you later, Jim.
Yep.
That was filmed with a Osmo action camera, Jaybird. Every bit of it. Believe it or not.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's right. I remember when you did that. It's a lightning storm aired, what, about a month ago?
Oh, longer than that.
No, it was this summer. It was this summer.
Yeah, it was sometime in the summer. Yeah. But
I just happened to see it, Bob. That's the only reason I did it. But anyways, Mel, I want to thank you, and guys, I want to thank everybody who watched tonight and
stayed with us the whole time. Yeah,
stayed with us. I was really surprised. We did a 2-hour show, so normally I would just start the timer and do that, but I think I'm just going to give it a
hardy ho and pull the plug.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say what I always say. Be nice, treat each other better than you would treat yourselves. Be kind. I said that because all lives matter, including them born. And God bless the USA.
Amen.
And that's where I'm at. I'm the Grumpy Vlogger, guys, and this is my permanent co-host, Mel 400 AGL. You guys know him. Mel, thank you for being part of my show.
Absolutely.
And
thank you, everybody, for staying in chat with us all this time.
Yes. Everybody have a good night. I'm not running the clock out. I'm just going to go ahead and end it. And take care, guys. There's other shows you could have watched, but you stuck with me, and I appreciate that. So with that said, I'm just going to end it. And good night, everyone.